Hi everyone, it's Chanel from Pink Giraffe. I have been noticing so many people at the moment that have either already been made redundant or are worried that this might be an outcome soon. So what we've decided to do is put together some tips on helping you overcome redundancy. We're going to provide you with 10 steps to get you back on your feet during redundancy. Step 1, please don't panic. Now this sounds really simple, but your automatic reaction will be to go into a state of panic. So the main thing to realise is that rushing into a flurry of activity won't actually help you. You need to focus firstly on having a day or two to be around those who matter, your family, friends, pets, whoever you can be around, to just take your mind off things, let things come to terms for a few days. You then need to look at writing a list of the things that you need to arrange in the coming months. This will help you become less panicked and allow you to be a little bit more ahead of the game when it comes to what you need to do next. You need to look at organising your legal and financial arrangements. You need to look at the network that you have around you. You need to look at the support that you've got in place. And finally, you need to look at renewing your CV, your portfolio, or social media accounts so that we can get you back out there and ready to move on. Step 2, know your rights. Knowing your rights is really important when you've been made redundant. So it's going to be dependent on your situation. So the first thing that you need to do is just make yourself aware of the rights available to you, because it will actually have a calming effect on your situation. If you visit the Gov website, www.gov.uk/redundancy your rights, it will give you information on the rights entitled to you during redundancy. There's also a great tool to support you with calculating your statutory redundancy pay. The other thing that is definitely worth doing is utilising your HR professional or using ACAS website, which will provide you on more information around your entitlement. So the ACAS website is www.acas.org.uk/advice. These 3 steps will help you understand a bit more clearly your rights during redundancy and will help ease the stress and the pressure that's on you at the moment. It will help you relax a little bit more. Step 3, don't take it personally. It sounds like a weird one, but the key here is to focus on the facts, what's happening and why, because it isn't about you, which sounds odd. It's you that's been made redundant, but this really isn't about you. So losing your job can be extremely stressful, but you need to remember here that you aren't alone. I personally have been made redundant some years ago, and it's difficult, but it happens to quite a large number of people. In fact, according to Statista, 106,000 people were made redundant in the UK during 2019, bearing in mind that we weren't actually going through the situation like we are now with regards to this virus and pandemic. So that's still quite a high number. So please don't take it personally. It isn't about you. It is common that people are made redundant. The other thing that you really need to take into account is that you need to remember that although you've had no control over losing your job, that wasn't your decision, you are able to control what you do to move forward from that. That's the key point is, okay, out of our control, but what can we do now to move things forward? The other thing is you have nothing to be ashamed of. So it sounds mad, but this isn't your fault. This isn't about you. You've done nothing wrong. So remember that you have nothing at all to be ashamed of. Step 4 is to manage your finances. So again, this will help from a stress management point of view. So what I recommend you do is review your personal finances and your current cash flow situation. Have a look, is there anything that you can cut back on for the time being? So that could be mortgage holidays, it could be pausing your loan repayments if you have a loan. What don't we need? What's not a necessity? That gym membership. Do we need it? Can we go outside and go for a run instead? That's one point that we need to consider. The next is to visit the gov.uk website to check what government allowances that you might be entitled to whilst you're out of work. You can also go into local job centres that they'll be able to help with that and reviewing that. Step 5 is to talk. So quite simple, quite a bizarre one to, I suppose, include in a major step around redundancy, but talking is really, really key. So talk about the situation with your friends and family. It will actually help. You need to be as open and honest about how you feel, and remember not to feel ashamed about it. This doesn't mean that you were doing anything wrong in your previous role. It's simply a financial reason behind this, and your business have had to take steps. So don't feel ashamed at all, and remember to talk about it. The key as well is don't feel rushed into talking about it. So make sure you talk about it in your own time when you're ready. So like we said in the first step, take time to reflect, have a moment to take it all in. So this is all about talking in your own time when you're ready to do so. There's also, it can take a toll on our mental health and well-being. So it's important, if you feel like that's affecting you, look at local organisations that can help. www.mind.org.uk is a great site for helping with things like this also. Step 6 is to reassess. Now, I personally absolutely love this one. It is something that I definitely did personally once I was going through that redundancy process. It's a great time to reassess and reflect on what you do next. So my advice to you would be to think about the things that you liked and disliked in the role that you've just come from. For example, the travel. Were you travelling quite far for work? Was that actually really annoying? Did you spend a lot of time stuck in traffic? Was it costly? Did you find that actually because of the long journey to work, it was impacting perhaps on your work-home balance? So look into the travel is quite important. The other thing is salary. Now, what were you earning before? What was the package that you received in your previous job? Now, it might be that you thought, do you know what? Yeah, I could actually do with being paid a little bit more this time, or I need to look at this because my outgoings have increased, or we were looking to move house, whatever it might be. So review your salary and consider whether you're looking for a bit more money. Alternatively, you might find that you're earning quite good money, you're on a great package, but maybe the role was slightly too stressful, or you just kind of fell out of love with it. So have a think about the salary. What do you need to live comfortably, or what don't you need from this job now? If the salary was high but the job was stressful, is that a stress that you're willing to consider again? You might decide that there's a new industry altogether that you want to move into. I, for one, many moons ago worked in sports before moving into recruitment. Random move, but for me, fantastic. Haven't looked back. So maybe looking at a new industry altogether could be an option for you. The other thing to look at is what companies or sectors are of interest. Have there been companies that you've always wanted to go to? Have you heard positive things perhaps from others about companies? So really kind of reassess what type of companies, what sectors you're looking to move into now. Random again, but what are your passions or hobbies? If, for example, you are a graphic designer and you are really passionate about football or golf, are there any graphic design roles for football clubs near you or golf clubs? So have a think about, is this a good time to incorporate something that you really love, something that you're passionate about, a hobby perhaps, into something you can make almost into a career as well? What can you do there perhaps? Step 7 is to research. So again, really, for me, really important step. So the first one here, which recruitment agencies are going to be the best to support your personal needs? Now, if you are, again, if we use designer as an example, if you're a graphic designer and you're looking for a new role, which recruitment agencies are the best to support you? Now, you get some that are kind of your generic high street recruiters that might cover anything from admin roles to finance roles to design roles. So that could be an option, but there are also a high number of really specialist recruitment agencies. So my advice personally would be, when you choose your recruitment agency, have a look at which agencies best represent your sector. So do some research around that. Also, which companies have really good reputations? Which companies treat their employees well? You're in a position now where you're able to look at a new opportunity. We want to go somewhere where we feel valued and where we know that we're going to be looked after. So to do some research around which companies have got good reputations. This is absolutely brilliant. So it's used very regularly by most recruiters. So www.glassdoor.co.uk is essentially a review website, but for workplaces. So you can leave a review on your time with your previous company. It gives you an opportunity to report on what the teams were like, what the pay or packages were like, what the culture's like. Great way of reviewing any companies online to see whether their existing employees think they're a good company to work for or not. That way you're not putting yourself at any risk of joining a company that essentially has got a really bad kind of atmosphere. No one would really want that. Also, when you go to look at your next company, maybe consider what clients they also support and if they have retained business. Now, I predominantly work with marketing agencies or agencies in general, whether they're creative agencies or exhibition agencies. So for me, I like to always understand what clients they work with and if they've got retained business. Now, it's important for you to know this because essentially it gives you a good idea of the financial status of the company you're joining. The last thing that you would want to do, having come out of a redundancy situation, is go into a role where perhaps the business you're joining happen to be struggling in some shape or form, because you don't want to end up being put back into a difficult situation. So a good place to look at their finances and how they're doing as a business in general. Another aspect of research is using your network, talking to friends, family. Do you know anyone that's worked with a company that you like the look of? So if you really wanted to go and join a new organisation and you've researched them, you really like them, have a look on LinkedIn, use your network to see, okay, is there anyone else I know that works there that I can just approach and say, hey, what do they like to work for? Do you enjoy your job? What are management like? Will I enjoy it there? So that's another thing. Utilise your network as much as you possibly can. Step 8 is to take action. Step 8, we're towards the end of these 10 steps now. And weirdly, rather than saying, right, this is, rush into getting your CV out, here we are, step 8. This is where we need to start going. We've done our research. We're ready to get back out there. So now we need to look at updating your CV. Now, it's a tricky one. Some people aren't too comfortable with this. And actually, if you get stuck, I am more than happy to review your CV, give you some pointers around what you need to do. There's often a confusion. Should my CV just be one page? Should it be longer? How much detail do I need? What do I need to include? All those types of things are going to be dependent on, firstly, the role, your job title, what you're looking for. Also, yes, in all theory, if you're applying for a new role, then you should be taking the time to look at the job description, look at your CV. Is there anything that is relatable? So updating your CV, this is the time to do it. If you get stuck with that, please let us know. We are more than happy to support you with that at the moment. Creating a portfolio. This is a little bit different. And again, this is pretty job specific. So if you're a designer, you need to showcase what the type of work that you've used, the software programs that you use for your design work. Do you do 3D architectural design? Do you do print-ready design, digital design? Show the variety of design work you're capable of. But the other thing to also think about is the end-to-end part of that design. So can you show examples of initial sketches and thought processes? Can you show your production ready or your technical drawings or rendering, whatever it is? So really make sure that when you create your portfolio, you don't just show the end product of what you've designed, but everything that you've done and how you've built to that in between, so that it shows a good variety of what you've managed to accomplish. So creating a portfolio is important. And with that, again, and with your CV, use digital and online to support you. If you can get your own little web page up with your portfolio on there digitally that people can see, or you've got somewhere you can post your CV, then that's fantastic. So use digital and online as much as possible to move yourself forward. Draft a letter of application. Seems a little bit old school, doesn't it? But actually it does really work. So I always recommend, if you're going to apply for any jobs with any companies directly, please include a letter of application. It's really important to be able to, one, put the effort in, show that you've done some research on that company, write about why you really want to join them, write about what it is that you in particular can bring to the table. Why are you going to be a great addition to their team? What are you going to bring to them? So draft a letter of application. But again, please, if you can, make sure that when you're applying for jobs, you look at editing this in line with the job that you're applying for. Standard cover letters, great, but always adapt them ready for the role that you are going to apply to. Definitely needs to be done nowadays. So review your social media platforms. Now, LinkedIn is a fantastic tool. Lots of job opportunities are posted there. Lots of recruiters use it. Lots of managers are on there. So it's a superb platform just for looking at work, seeing what's around. When you look at this, it's really important to make sure that you're focused very strongly on your profile. So have you got a picture in there? It's great to have a picture in there. It's nice to put a face to the profile so that we can understand who you are. Make sure it's suitable, obviously, but a nice clear photo on there. Have a look at changing your settings. So on your LinkedIn, there is an opportunity where you can change your settings to available or open to new opportunities. This is great. By changing that, it shows that you're available, you're looking for a job at the moment, and allows people to contact you if they've got anything suitable. So that's one thing that you need to change. Not too many people do this with their LinkedIn, but it is a huge help and it is of huge benefit to you if you can update your key skills. So on your LinkedIn profile, there is a point where you can add your key skills in. So, if you are a recruiter, you would put in there what you've recruited for, what your specialities are. So putting in your key skills is really important. And again, quite often see this. So web developers will put that they're a web developer. Fantastic, super. But under that key skills section, we want to know what languages you code in so that we know exactly what we're looking for. It just means that people can find you specifically and more easily, will know that you're going to be a good fit for that role. The more key skills you have in there, the easier it will become. The other thing to bear in mind is testimonials. Now, if you have been made redundant, the chances are that it's a decision that has affected a number of people within the business, and that it may have been a really tough call. They might not have even wanted to have let you go, but they've had no option as a business. So go to your previous managers, talk to your previous HR department, as if they can't give you a nice letter of reference or whatever, can they leave you just a short paragraph or testimonial on your LinkedIn just to say how long you worked with them, the type of work you carried out, what you did, how well you got on with the team. So use your LinkedIn as well to collect some testimonials or some referrals from your previous managers or colleagues. Again, that's on LinkedIn, but you can also, if you can get them in writing as well, then great. Network, said this on a couple of slides now, but use your network, friends, family, social media, whatever you can. Join groups on social media as well. So network is key. Very important to me, this one actually, quality or quantity. So when you're taking action, I think some of us are still start to go, okay, I really need a job. I'm going to send my CV everywhere. I've given it to 5 different recruitment agencies and I'm going to apply for every job that I see online. You might think that's the best thing to do, but actually, I really can't enforce this enough. I would definitely recommend you taking a quality over quantity approach where you can. When you come to choose your recruitment agencies, don't send your CV to 5 or 6 agencies, because especially if you've tailored the ones to your market, they might have a crossover of clients. And what you don't want is the same client seeing your CV 5 or 6 times from 5 or 6 agencies, because it actually is counterproductive. You're like, they might be like, hey, how has this guy or this girl not got a job yet? Why am I seeing their CV so much? What's wrong with their CV? Focus on quality, not quantity. Choose 1 or 2 or 3 recruitment agencies. I mean, to be honest, if you can find one to work with, they're more likely to work harder on you because they know that they're working with you one-to-one. So quality over quantity. Again, when you apply for roles, please don't just click apply because it's nice and easy to do online. Click apply, send your CV. Try and get a direct email address for someone that's working there. Try and use their careers at site if you can to send your CV with your cover letter. The more you can give and the more you can do with them is going to prove really successful for you. So think about the quality or quantity approach. Scheduling work hours. So interesting one. You probably worked some set hours whilst you were in work, be it 9 till 5 or whatever. So why not keep your mindset and yourself motivated in working these hours? So schedule between, I don't know, 9 and 2 o'clock in the afternoon to work solely on doing some LinkedIn stuff, looking for jobs, updating your CV, getting your letter ready. So be strict on yourself. You would normally be in work then anyway. Let's use that time to schedule some work hours and get some system in place. Step 9 is about your support network. This is really important. So if you've come out of redundancy, you need to make sure that you are only surrounding yourself with positive people. At this moment in time, you are going to need support, you're going to need love, you're going to need people that are going to be able to pick you up and spread positivity. So if there is anyone in your life that is a little bit negative, likely to put a dampener on your day, please just avoid them for the time being. Honestly, surround yourself with positive people. That's really important. Choose to find people who have your best interests at heart. Now, this is an interesting one and it can be sometimes pretty difficult. So if you let friends or family know that you've been made redundant and you're at that point where you're now talking to them about it, they might say, oh, well, I've got some work going at the moment. You can come and help me do this for a few weeks. You then go, yeah, they're helping me. I should probably go and do that. But what you need to really sum up is, has that person got your best interests at heart, or are they simply using your current situation to get the most for them, get some support? So have a look at that and make sure that they have got your interests at heart and that this isn't just a tick box and a simple solution to a problem that they might be having, because sometimes it becomes counterproductive. So you might go and help them for a few weeks, but then what you've done is possibly missed out on a few great opportunities that you could have caught up on had you been looking at that. So try to balance that, and I know that finances will have a lot to do with that, but something to consider. Again, try to focus on yourself. It's not selfish. So we're talking about support network being there, but also try to focus on yourself. It genuinely isn't selfish at all. It's important at the moment that you've got some clarity, you've written stuff down, you know what you need to do. So that's just a point to add on, I suppose, a little bit involved in people asking you to help them with work, but try and focus on yourself at the moment. And it's okay to say, oh, yes, I'm out of work, but I don't want to help you at the moment because I really need to focus on getting my next role sorted. That doesn't make you selfish. It possibly makes you wise. So don't worry about that. So the final step, step 10, nice and easy this. Probably one of the most important steps of them all, to be honest. So this covers the 4 Ps. So firstly, positivity. You have to remain positive the whole time. I can't emphasize that enough. The more positive you are, the more likely you are to be able to get through this redundancy situation and get yourself a new job. So be positive. You need to also add into that patience. Now, I struggle a little bit with patience, but it is really key, trust me. So again, don't rush into anything. If you follow these steps, you've sorted your finances and you're doing everything properly, and be patient, and it will most definitely come. If you're doing things properly, you'll get something that is perfect for you. You've just got to be positive. You've got to be patient. The other thing, you absolutely need to be persistent. If you've sent a letter of an application, you've done it nicely, you've included in there why you like the company, you've sent your CV, you've sent it to the careers email address, give it a day or two. If they haven't responded, then absolutely pick up the phone and give them a call and ask if they've received it, or follow it up. So be persistent, keep going, don't just give up. And by doing those 3 things, get to the final P, it will all pay off 100%. You will find that you're in a good position, you've got some job opportunities coming in, and you've got some interviews. Again, when you get to this stage, we are able to support you with how to interview properly. We can give you some tips. We can get you thinking about questions, answers, how to present yourself, the do's and don'ts of interviewing. So if you need any additional support with anything around that kind of CV, your social media, interviewing, then please get in touch. We would be more than happy to support you at the moment. So now that's our 10 steps to get you back on your feet after redundancy. So for any next steps, by this, we are here to support you. If you need help with your CV, looking at your portfolio, or if you need help with your letter of application, next steps, anything we can do to support you whilst you're going through this situation, we are more than happy to help. You can email us info@yourpinkgiraffe.com. You can connect with us on LinkedIn. You can find myself, Chanel Kirkham, Director of Pink Giraffe. You can find me on LinkedIn and connect with me there. And you can also find our Pink Giraffe company page on LinkedIn and give us a follow. We will be posting regular blogs, updates during this quite difficult time. So it's a good way to stay in touch. If you need anything at all, or if you are a managing director that's listened to this slide, we are also able to offer some support to you separately during this time to help support your team members and to connect with them all and carry them through this situation. So, on the flip side, if you are a manager that's having to make redundancies, we're also really keen to support you at the moment. So stay positive, people. We look forward to helping you guys in the future. Thanks very much.